Kilo Charlie 4 Zulu Echo. Name is Tommy. QSL?
Roger, Roger, Tommy. Let me get that down. And Tommy, what's your location, sir?
I'm in Jamestown, North Carolina. Jamestown, North Carolina.
All right, Tommy, and what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm using a FLEX-840M with LFS amplifier and LFS Cat 500 antenna tuner. Over.
Okay, so that was a FLEX-840 Mary. Is that a Roger?
That's a Roger.
All righty there. Tommy, if you would, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger?
Roger on that.
Okay, so if you would, go ahead and tell me about your antenna system for about 10 seconds.
Okay, the antenna
For about 10 seconds.
2, 6, it's up about 50 feet. It's been fed with coax to ladder line to wire. It's about 90-some feet long. I forget the exact measurements on it. Maybe 96, 97 feet, something like that. And it's up in the tree branches. I can't get it back down. It's up there permanently. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, it's better permanently to be up there than on the ground. I had one 80-meter dipole that just gave me a hard time all the time, and I had it in the tree. I had it in the top branch of a 60-foot tree, and I just never could get the SWR out of it. And I would take, every 2 or 3 weeks, I'd go up there and I'd say, I'm going to solve this SWR problem, and I'd go up there for 2 hours, and it'd probably be worse than when I started. So I was using tie wraps to quickly be able to make these adjustments, and long story short, one of those tie wraps slipped, and I lost my position at the top of the tree. Oh, and I was so, deflated, and I said, well, I'll just have to throw it temporarily over the last limb in the tree, or the first limb of the tree, and, call it quits for the day. And so I did that. So I went from the top of the tree to the first limb on the tree, which was about 20 feet, and I went in and checked my SWR, and it was perfect. And I'd say, well, good gracious, what was going on here? And what it was this was a, it was a dipole antenna. So the ground side of the dipole was running pretty much parallel to the earth at about 20 feet, 25 feet. But the other end was that one that was a sloper that went all the way up to the top of that tree. And there was enough difference between the one side of that dipole and the other that they could never coincide with that much difference to ground that sloper was. And when I went to that first limb, all of a sudden those two dipole segments started looking similar to each other, and there was just a perfect no SWR, Roger. Was just a perfect no SWR, Roger.
Roger on that there. If you don't hold on to the wire and the tie wraps together. I've done that. I've been there, done that. Actually, this afternoon I got a hex beam that I use upon 20 meters, and I put it over here on this antenna port instead of using the BK. I believe the antenna here I'm using is a B26KW modified G5RV. I've got the nomenclature right. I'm not sure. I have to look it up. So anyway, I'm using a FLEX-840M. The microphone is about a $11 microphone that I bought off of AliExpress. It's a gooseneck type amp microphone here, and I can tie it with cable clamps to my wire cage shelving and push it in and out any way I want to, because it's got flex tubing on it, this gooseneck antenna, the gooseneck microphone. And I just want to check out the audio. How does my audio sound? Over.
Sounds good. I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter off of my audio out of the 7300, and it maybe could use just a touch of more treble. I am prone to do that for intelligibility. Life is not perfect, and when you get down the road there and you're suffering from Mother Nature bending half of your signal back at another time, and you start getting phase cancellation, and the phase cancellation always starts at the top of the audio frequencies, way up there, and it works itself down. So, but the first thing you lose is all of your articulation, because that is all in the upper registers of the audio spectrum. So, because of that, I do recommend a nice healthy top end there for articulation. So, in your case, I would suggest maybe a 2 or 3 dB click boost on your treble, just to be on the safe side there, because the thing is, when you lose your top end, if you have any bottom end to match it, you become Mr. Mumbles when you lose all that top end. So for that, I just suggest trying to keep things bright, for articulation. Roger.
Bright, for articulation. Roger.
Roger on that. I don't think I have a bass and a treble setting on the radio. I have to go back and look. It has a transmit equalizer that I can play with for sure. So I raised the transmit. I raised the 2K and the 1K and the 4K up a little bit for you there. How's that sound? Over?
Yes, sir. It's helping now. You have a 10-octave equalizer, goes 2, 4, 8 on the top end. Is that a Roger?
8 on the top end. Is that a Roger?
It goes 2K, 4K, and 8K on top end. That's correct. Over.
Roger, Roger. So what you probably need to do is play a game between 2K and 4K, and boost 4K maybe 5 clicks above where you were, and maybe 2K 2 clicks above where you were, and that gives you a hot spot there in the frequency spectrum of around 3K. 2.7K is actually the perfect boost frequency, but there's so few radios that have that, unless they have tunable frequencies, which are really, really nice. You can just crank in the frequency you want and do it. Roger.
Just crank in the frequency you want and do it. Roger.
Roger on that. Well, I raised it up a little bit there. How's that there for you? Over.
Yes, sir. Give me something with some S's in it. The S is the key word there for top end, the syllabic range, Roger.
For top end, the syllabic range, Roger.
Well, I hope it sounds better than it did. I don't know. I usually just set it for how I like to hear myself when I record myself with it, but it never hurts to ask somebody else how it sounds. And actually, I was going to fill out a survey back to Flex after I got through messing around with it here a little bit. They've got something called an adaptive process in their software that they provided, and I'm not sure how well it works. And it's a beta. It's a beta, and I hope it works well for them. It makes better improvements with the audio going out. And let's see here. You're in Louisville, Kentucky is where you're at, I think. I've been reading the books about Daniel Boone and his adventures there in Kentucky. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, we're within a stone's throw of Louisville. We're on the other side of the Ohio. We are in New Albany, Indiana, which is just right across the Ohio River from Louisville. So I don't say New Albany because most people I don't think would know where that is, but they do know where Louisville, home of the Kentucky Derby, is. Roger?
Louisville, home of the Kentucky Derby, is. Roger?
Yes, I do. And the Ohio River down in the southern part of Indiana is gorgeous. It doesn't look anything like up around Fort Wayne. Over.
Oh, Roger that, Roger that. Well, I have mostly seen the Ohio River from the Indiana area, or the Kentucky-Anna area, as it were. A lot of times going over that bridge. Now that it's a toll bridge, I don't go quite as much over that bridge anymore. There's a secondary bridge that's usually pretty crowded, but I opt to go over that one, Roger.
Usually pretty crowded, but I opt to go over that one, Roger.
Yeah, I think I was reading in one of these books about a toll road from, I think it was from somewhere in Kentucky, Louisville, to maybe down to Missouri. I'm not sure. It was a private, back in the early days, all they had were private roads that were toll roads up there, over.
Yes, sir. Well, when I first came to Louisville, they had a toll in effect on 65, although it was on the entrance and exit ramps, obviously, and they did retire that. Much to my amazement, because usually once you get a toll going on a road, boy, it's the next 30 years you're going to be paying on that toll, or more, But they did retire that toll in about 2 years after I got here, so really amazing. Okay, so back to radio there. Just to double check, you are in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. We suggest that. It's called wide in most circumstances. Wide TBW, transmit bandwidth. It gives you just a slice of daylight before you run into somebody else's conversation. So, like I said, we do suggest 100 to 2900 on your transmit bandwidth, Roger.
2900 on your transmit bandwidth, Roger.
Roger on that. Yeah, I believe I'm there. Over.
Yes, sir. That allows your transmitter to work at its maximum, not at its maximum in your situation, but most people, 2900 is good to go there, and it gives them just a slice of daylight before they're into somebody else's conversation, and then you got people coming looking for you with pitchforks, Roger.
And then you got people coming looking for you with pitchforks, Roger.
Roger on that. So. Anyway, I'm going to say 73 there to you. I've got my wife just pulled into the driveway. I got to go get groceries and help her head into the house. Enjoyed it. Thanks for having a conversation there with me. 73, KC4ZZE clear.
Roger, Tommy, and I've been copying the mail on my Pennsylvania SDR. You have been consistently about 15 to 20 over, so I have had a beautiful copy on you, and we are recording as always. So if you want to hear that great radio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3400, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger.
And I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Roger on that. Could I get your call sign there again, please? I've worked you before with other radios. I enjoy what you're doing there.
Is this frequency in use?
Yes, frequency is in use, sir. Frequency is in use. This is the Qso-Vlog net in progress. And the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Name is Jim. Juliet India Mike, Roger.
Victor Kilo Victor. Name is Jim. Juliet India Mike, Roger.
Roger on that, Jim. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And when I do my survey, I'll tell them they want to hear what it sounds like, the audio from the FLEX-840M through my setup there. Flex is welcome to go to your website and listen to it. Appreciate it. Thank you. You have a great weekend. I'll say 73, let you get some more customers there. KC4ZZE clear. 73, Jim.
Roger, Tommy, 73, sir. And you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.